Hey, alright guys, welcome back to another Conspiracy Crypto. I'm your host with the most, Tobias Brown. How is everyone doing? Well, it's not been great, has it? Let's be brutally honest. But what I'm going to get into here will help shed light on what has just happened and why we dipped 25% pretty much on every single altcoin. Before we get into that, please do like, subscribe to the channel, help me grow, check out my other videos, because it really does help me. You know, as a content creator, I don't get paid doing any of this. I do it for the love of doing it, really. So I'm going to get into it without further ado, and I'm going to tell you something that no other channel is going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why this happened on a particular day, and why it was important that it did happen on that day, and why this was actually a ritual. Okay? So let's just have a look at what happened. We had a massive drop coming into the 22nd. Okay, so we've been bimbling along lovely at about $3.05, $3.11. I'm just using the XRP chart as an example, okay, because I think XRP is very much tied into this whole thing. And then Trump comes out, and if you've been living under, everyone knows what's happened. He basically decided to put tariffs on China, Mexico, Canada, and various other countries, including the European Union he's talking about as well, and basically ignited a brand new trade war that could spread around the world. So this is from Forbes, okay? So meanwhile, Trump has followed through with his campaign promise to put steep tariffs on goods coming to the US from Canada, Mexico, and China, setting the stage for a trade war that would spread around the world. All right, so that's the narrative. They're telling you that this is the reason that the crash happened. So the markets reacted, the NASDAQ reacted, and we saw a massive sell-off on US tech stocks, and as a result, it's very closely linked to Bitcoin, and then we went down. Trump's executive order will impose 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico. That's already been sorted. He's already got on the phone with Canada and Mexico, and now that's not happening. Well, for another month at least. That's what we've been told. And basically, it's only China who he apparently is going to speak to tonight. So, was this all contrived? Who knows? Gold, silver, Bitcoin may crash. Robert Kiyosaki, investor and author of the advice book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, posted to X, pointing to Trump's tariffs of the catalyst. Good will buy more after prices crash. Real problem is debt, which will only get worse. Crashes mean assets are on sale, time to get richer. Completely agree with him. If I'd had money, I would have been buying. All right? As it was, I didn't. I was a little bit worried because I had leveraged positions, but I just about survived. But this whole thing was a ritualistic, not sacrifice. Well, I suppose you could call it a sacrifice, but it's a liquidation event. All right? And I'm going to explain why. I'm not just going to talk hyperbole. I'm going to give you the nitty-gritty of why this happened. So, this is an esoteric look at what actually occurred. So, we're talking 8:05, 9 in the morning. We started to see prices dropping quite significantly on XRP. So, we came, on the first, everything was hunky-dory. We're trading at $3.10, yada, yada, yada. And then suddenly, this announcement comes out and the whole thing falls off a cliff. All right? And when we say fall off a cliff, $2.01 was the last candle down, but it got as low, I am reliably informed, as $1.86. It says $1.95, $1.85 on here, but I believe there was a scam wick down, which completely wiped a lot of people out. So if you're a trader in this, and you're trading the last big run up, so if we go back a month, here you go, you would have been putting on a trade about here at the $2.34 level, thinking, it's never going back down to that level. Happy days, everything's going well for you until, bang, scam wick goes down and completely wipes you out. This was a massive liquidation event. We're talking $2 billion liquidation, potentially up to 8. And as a result, so many people lost so much money, and they're not back in on this market. And look how quickly it recovered. Bang. Instant V-shaped recovery. That is a liquidation event. So it's not only clearing out the shorts, it's clearing out the longs, sorry. It's also clearing out the new shorts put in their place as well. And I reckon we're going to see a massive blow upwards, which will completely destroy all the shorts up here as well. They do not want you in. I don't know how many times I have to say this. This is not an asset for the people. This is an asset for the banks. Okay? But it's not just XRP. It's the entire market. Obviously, things have recovered today. But let me explain why this happened. All right? Do you realize that the 2nd of February marked the 33rd day of the year? And if you believe what I believe in this, then you will understand that the 33rd day represents completion. But I'll get into that in a minute. It was also the high winter, the symbolic sabbat. Okay, so according to the pagans, it's the return of the maiden goddess, green lord from the underworld, and knowing. It's also the time of spring cleaning. They cleaned you out. They cleaned out retail good and proper. They spring cleaned you before the next leg up. All right? And they created a tidal wave of fear. People sold. People who were buying at $3.10 were mortified. They sold at the bottom. They got destroyed. And what were the whales doing? The whales were buying. But this high winter, okay, it's timed. The celebrations are timed January the 30th through February the 2nd. The witching hours, 3 p.m. dawn would be perfect. Perfect for what? Perfect for what? A sacrifice. That's what it's perfect for. Okay? And this pagan ceremony, an offering for ancestors, that's exactly what happened. So this was an offering. It was a symbolic destruction of the stock market on purpose to say, look, we're in control, and also to flush out. It was used initially. I mean, the news came out, obviously the market dropped, but then you have the bots which were selling, and you also have people who are panic selling, and it just dropped the price so quickly. But it's interesting, isn't it, that this was done on the 33rd day. Now, if you need to understand one thing, the 33 in Freemasonry represents completion. So we're talking about completion of the project which has just been unleashed, in my opinion, which is XRP, XLM, and XTC. I know I bang on about them, but this is why. All right, the Knights Templar were in the Holy Land beginning in the year 118, so 1118. Hughes de Payens, the master of the order, though a Christian, was descendant of Muhammad. It was through this connection that the Templars allied themselves with Islam. The Templars' principal teachers, the alchemy, were enlightened Sufis. The Sufis had gathered the nearest and most valuable alchemic tests, the Egyptians, Persians, Indians. The Sufis also acquired texts from India regarding the mythical form of spiritual enlightenment. Right, that's just a bit of background. But the human spine contains 33 vertebrae. Think about that. Now, Manly P. Hall, who's a very prominent Freemason, basically says the 33rd degree in Freemasonry represents the human head atop the 33 vertebrae out the back. Very interesting, isn't it? Now, if you actually look into, I mean, this is getting very esoteric, but I'm going to just talk about it anyway quickly. If you look into the idea of Christ and Christus, there is actually an oil which throws through your back, and it talks about it here, through Kundalini. There's an oil that flows through your back, through your septum, into your spine, and actually goes into the crown chakra at the top of the head. If you abstain from sexual intercourse, you do not masturbate, you will have this burst of energy after 1 month, okay? You call it Jing, you call it alchemy, you call it the yoga, you call it the Kundalini spirit. All of that is actually related to what happened. I know that sounds mental, but it's all about the 33rd degree, okay? So they have basically said completion is in on the crypto market. Completion is in. We are now in control. 33rd degree. It happened on the 33rd day, and from now on we will see another ritual which will be rising up. So there will be a huge rise up, in my opinion, and then there will be another crash back down to about, the $3.30 level for XRP, where we were before all of this happened. So it will be another ritual to wipe out all of the shorts, and then go back down to normal, and then we'll get our consolidation, and then we'll get our continuation. All right? So that's what I think is happening. Now, if you actually look at the definition of ritual sacrifice, it's to give something valuable or significant up as an offering, as a tribute to a higher power. So the stock market is pretty bloody valuable, and it was given up as a sacrifice, and obviously crypto followed suit. And as a result, a lot of people got completely destroyed. But I'm telling you, what's going to happen after this is going to melt faces, not just with the cryptocurrencies I've mentioned, but pretty much with every cryptocurrency. I think that we're going to see very easily 140, 150,000 Bitcoin, and as a result, we'll see a $7 XRP. And I think we'll see that sooner rather than later. Same with Cardano. I mean, Cardano got absolutely smashed. At one point, it was sitting at like 56 cents. Unbelievable. It was actually my missus's birthday yesterday, so I was in the zoo, not actually doing anything with crypto, trying to keep out of it, trying to not even look. I was getting phone calls left, right, and centre. You see what's going on? Well, exactly. All right. But this is confirmed. If you look at Waters Above, he's been saying about the moon cycles. It's very interesting as well. But it's, to me, this is exactly what happened. It was Sabbath, and in the Sabbath, they cleaned house. They basically showed that they're in charge of spring cleaning, and they cleaned out the market. This was a ritualistic sacrifice of the stock market on purpose, and funnily enough, we're back up to where we should normally be, maybe a little bit lower, but I believe the whole thing is going to recover very, very quickly. All right, so let me know what you think about that. I mean, I'd love to hear your comments. I will get back to as many of you as possible. Let me know what you think about the Freemasons, because I always love talking about that topic. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, help me grow the channel. I will be doing some more content on... I'm sorry, it's been a long time. I've been off and, sick. I actually got sand in my ear, so what can you say about that? It's right stuck on the eardrum. But anyway, I will be back. I will be talking about not just XRP, but XPR very, very shortly, and why potentially you should be looking at XPR and what it can do for you and what it is. Okay? So, don't fret. It's all going to come out in the wash. We are going back up, and all-time highs are just around the corner. This was the last big attack before, and the last shakeout before we are going to see prices absolutely skyrocket. So anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.